Okay, I'm going to use the technique of rational equations to solve the word problem. Okay, and this word problem is similar to one that's found in the homework exercises. Smith Engineering is in the process of reviewing the salaries of their surveyors. During the review, the company found that an experienced surveyor can survey a roadbed in 5 hours. An apprentice surveyor needs 8 hours to survey the same stretch of road. If the two work together, find out how long it takes them to complete the job. Okay, well, there's 4 steps to doing these kinds of word problems. The first step is you want to understand the problem. If you need to read it over a couple of times, well, you read it over a couple of times. In this particular one, what we can glean so far is that, let's see, the experienced person completes 1/5 of the job in an hour. And if you look at it that way, it's going to make the thing a little bit easier. The apprentice actually completes 1/8 of the job in an hour. Okay, together, expect that they're going to complete it in what? They're probably less than 5 hours. What the experienced person going to be? So expect less than. We're going to use that a little bit farther on down to just verify that the answer that we get is actually something that makes sense. I'm going to summarize all this stuff in a table. And here's how you set up that table. The experienced person, the apprentice, they complete job in 5 hours. They're in 8 hours. This guy's in 8 hours. And then in 1 hour, this person does 1/5 of the job, and this person does 1/8 of the job. And now together, which is what we're interested in, we don't know how long it takes, but whatever it is, 1/x gets done in 1 hour. Okay, so now we'll summarize the information that we have in the basic statement of the problem. And in this kind of a problem, this is how you want to summarize to get these fractions. Okay, second step here is to translate. That is, I want to look at this table and look at the relationships between the various quantities in there and see if I can get some sort of a relationship going, so that's going to allow me to do a mathematical expression on this. And it turns out, yeah, I do have that. In particular, the experienced person plus the apprentice working on the job is going to do the total job somehow. Okay, so in 1 hour, 1/5 of the job is going to be done by this guy, 1/8 of the job is going to be done by this guy, and that's going to add up to this 1/x. So in other words, this 1/5 plus the 1/8 needs to be equal to the 1/x. Well, look at that. We have a rational equation right now that we need to solve. And it turns out that that's the third step that we're going to work with, is we want to solve that. Okay, so how do you solve that rational equation? Well, it's a couple of different ways, but the way I'd like to solve it is clear these denominators. Multiply by the LCD. In this case, the LCD is equal to, let's see, I have a 5, I have an 8, and I have an x. I believe that they don't have any common factors in there, so I think we're going to have to multiply those together, and I'm going to get 40x out of that. If I multiply 40x, both sides of the equation, what do I end up with? Well, let's see, 40x times 5, I can factor out a 5 from the 40, and I'm left with 8x. The 5's cancel. The second term, 1/8 times 40x, well, again, I'm going to cancel out an 8 here, and I'm left over with a 5x. Over on this side, if I multiply by 40x, well, this time it's the x's that cancel, and I'm left with 40. So let's see the final result here. Combine those two together. 13x equals 40. So x equals 40 by 13. And that equals 3 and 1/13 hours. All right, so that's our final answer there. Now let's take a look at that and do a reality check. Does that make sense? First of all, well, let's see. We go back to the original thing and back over here where we said together we expect less than 5 hours. That's definitely that 3 1/3 13th hour is certainly within our reasonability check there. The final real step of this whole process is to interpret. Not good enough to just do all the math and come up with 3 1/13. You got to tell me what that means. So basically what you're going to do is going to report back that it should take about 3 1/13 hours for both to complete the job. And when you have a problem like this, you really want to do this last step, because you need to translate, interpret what your mathematics just showed you, so that the people who don't understand that cool math that you just did can understand your solution and apply it. Okay, so that's how you do that kind of a problem.